Hey guys, Rich here. Welcome back to the RCINFORMER YouTube channel. Today's video is coming as a request from Jeff at Jeff's Custom RC regarding the AEROFOAM L-39 and the main landing gear doors hanging open while it's flying. So anybody that has this airplane, I've had the problem, Jeff's had the problem, a lot of people have the problem where when you fly this thing, the landing gear doors tend to hang open while it's flying. And for some reason, you retract the gear, the doors close, they stay closed for a bit, but as the plane's flying, airflow or something over this kind of hangs these things down. Gravity seems to hold them down. Now, some people have said that the gear, the servos for the doors depower while it's flying. It doesn't seem to depower at all because you can see they're powered. But for whatever reason, even adjusting the link, you can get these to close better, but they always seem to hang open while this thing is flying. It has probably a combination to do with the gravity just pulling them down, maybe the airflow over them, but something is kind of sucking them down. So what I did, as you can hear here, is I installed magnets. Now there's probably 100 different ways to do this, guys, and I saw somebody put magnets in here and they kind of globbed them in. Great job, and it worked fantastic, but I wanted to clean it up a little bit, so I kind of designed it in such a way, and it all depends on the positioning of the magnets, and I wanted them to be adjustable, so if they do tend to stick up without opening, then I can adjust them a little bit. So it's important, folks, that as you're testing this out, the airplane is right side up. Okay, so gravity is affecting these doors and pulling them down. I have the airplane inverted now, so sometimes I cycle the switch and a gear will actually, you know, stay closed. But in most cases, when the landing gear is in the up position, even if the door doesn't open, as soon as the retract starts moving, it'll bump into this and it'll open the door and bring it down. So while I'm inverted here like this, sometimes I cycle the door and one of them will kind of stick. But again, that's because I'm inverted and not right side up. So let's go ahead and try it just to give you a sample of it. Here they opened up nicely. You can see the door servo moving and extending everything open. The landing gear goes into the well and the doors close, and you'll hear that really nice click locking them up. There's the click. And now, I've been test flying this. It's been flying great this way. Haven't had any problem with them getting stuck. So as long as you put them in the same position, you guys should have the same success with it. And it's been working great. Now, the magnets I used are these. I got these from Amazon, so I'll put a link down below. In my Amazon store, I put these magnets in there. I put them under miscellaneous or parts or something down there. I forgot the exact label, but you can see how teeny tiny, you know, these magnets are. In fact, I'm going to zoom on these a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. They're really small, only a few millimeters by a few millimeters. And that's all I wanted, was a strong magnet, but a very lightweight one that had a light pull. And also I designed it so I could adjust it, because again, I don't want the doors getting stuck, you know, closed. We want to be able to have the landing gear come down and have these things open up. So again, these will be down in the store. You guys can check it out there. And then foam tack I also used to you know, foam tack these up, which I use foam tack everywhere, and we'll get to the nitty-gritty of it. I did use a hobby knife blade that I dulled to stick in there as a metal catch, and I'm going to show you that. It's pretty simple. I wanted this to be an easy design. You don't have to use a knife blade, you can use something else. Now I'm going to extend the gear one more time so I can go ahead and pull the battery off and depower the servo, so I can show you how all this goes together. So let me get this stuff off of here. And what I'm going to do is, as I extend this, I'm going to simulate what happens if the magnet overpowers the servo. So here we go. I'm going to hold this one down. I'm going to extend the gear, and you can see that one is locked up. But the power of the landing gear will push it open as long as you have this thing, the magnetic adhesion set up to be light enough. Now I'm going to unplug the battery. As long as you have it set up light enough, the gear will power through a lightweight magnet. So now, I haven't had this problem happen. My gear has always come up and down since I made this mod, so it's not an issue. So what I'm going to show you guys first, I have a paper towel underneath this wing holding the wing up, and I want to show you, now that the servo is depowered, I went ahead and just unplugged the battery. You can see that this consists of two things. There is, and the airplane's going to rock over there. We have a magnet on this side, okay, right here, stuck into the door, and I've got that little knife blade or any piece of metal stuck in there. And the idea is that as the door closes, the magnet on the top comes down and it touches onto the piece of metal. And the idea is that both of those are adjustable, so I can make the contact area more if I push that top magnet out, or push the knife blade out, or I can make the contact less by pulling the magnet towards the back of the plane and pulling the knife blade or metal towards the front. So you can adjust that, and I made this to be adjustable. So the first thing I want to kind of point out to everybody is really the position of this servo. You can see that when this thing's fully extended, it's like all the way over here. Okay, so you can see the servo horn position, and if yours isn't lined up this way, you may be able to get it that way. Sometimes they use a different horn, but this is the horn that I have. So you can see with the door fully closed, this will give you an idea of the position of that servo horn right there. It's not parallel with the bottom, it's actually a little farther up, and that kind of helps hold that door really in the up position. So if yours isn't adjusted that way, adjust it that way first and see if that really helps out to hold that door up. But you can see here there's always a little bit of slop here, and I don't know, it's just the mechanical nature of this, but having a little magnet, okay, for a little extra adhesion, which you can hear it clicking, really helps to kind of lock that door up just a little bit. So let's open that up and let's start on the procedure for this. So the first thing that you want to consider is where are you going to put this magnet? And this was my thought process, because the farther away you have the magnet from the hinge line or the actuator, in other words, the farther away this way it is, the more strength that magnetic attraction is going to have. So it's going to be harder for the servo to power through that. The closer you make that magnet to the actuator or the hinge joint, the less magnetic advantage or mechanical advantage or less adhesion that magnet's going to have. So the servo is going to be able to overpower that magnet a whole lot easier. So I had to take sort of a guesswork to figure out where am I going to put this along here. So I chose right around here. And for your reference, if you all take a look at this piece of foam right here, if you come straight back off of that, that's about the center of where that piece of metal is. So that'll give you an idea where that is. Same thing on the door side. I'm going to show you the door and where that is. So it's about this far, okay, as you can see, from where that corner is. Or actually, better yet, you can use this little circle as a reference as to where I put that magnet. So to start off doing this, the first thing that I did was I mounted the magnet. I took a hobby knife and very carefully I sharpened it, or very carefully I cut a hole right in the plastic. And this is why I needed a thin and very small magnet. And I was careful to cut it using probably, I think I used some needle files too. But I made it tight enough so when I push this in there, it kind of sticks in there with some friction. And the reason for that is I wanted to be able to take that magnet and move it forward and back, okay, so I could adjust it. That's the thing that allows me to adjust the position of the top magnet on top of that piece of metal on the bottom. So I can adjust the magnetic strength and the contact area of the magnet on the metal once again. So now once I got that in place, notice I have foam tack here. I did not glue it right away. I just left the magnet there and I pushed it far to the front, because what I did was in order to line everything up and get everything to match, I went ahead and I took the door. Let me move the servo here a little bit. I went ahead and closed the door and I pushed down on this. I pushed down pretty hard because I was trying to leave an impression in the foam. So when I lift the door up, there was a nice impression of that magnet on the bottom here, and I knew exactly where to put that blade into. So and then taking the blade, which I'm going to grab right here, all I really did with that blade was I took the blade and I stuck it in here. Now you don't have to use this. In fact, I used a sharp blade to start the hole going in there. And then once I got it in most of the way, I kind of backed it out and then put a dull blade, you know, I kind of rounded it off so it wasn't sharp, putting it in the airplane, and then stuck it back in there. So now with this blade in here, I can now adjust. I could push it in farther, okay, to get less contact, or I could push it back. So again, there's more contact with the magnet. Now it's fully adjustable, this design. You can adjust the magnet position forward and back. You can adjust the metal contact forward and back, and then you can set the amount of strength that you want this thing to have. So to give you guys a quick look at how deep I had to go, you can see here some of this was a little bit of guesswork, but once I got that impression, as you can see, which is not, you can't really see it, but once I got the impression in this white shelf, I was able to slide the knife blade right in there. And notice it's a few millimeters deep because that impression of the magnet went pretty deep in there. And then that allowed me to set the height of this thing. So you got to consider where you're putting the depth of that magnet, because as you close this, that magnet goes pretty deep in there. And you want this door to get closed, you know, pretty much all the way. So that's really about it. So once I got this whole thing set up, I took my best guess, and my first guess actually worked out well. I adjusted the position of the magnet, and I adjusted the position of the blade because I wanted the blade to be as flush with this as I could. So they made a good enough contact that it's strong enough. I felt it was strong enough to hold the door closed, but also a lightweight enough of a contact that when I actuated that servo, that it was able to power through the magnet with the plane right side up, not inverted. So it'll pull off that. Because remember, gravity affects the doors the way I have it while it's upside down here. So once I found the place where I thought that this worked well, and you can hear that contact, then I went ahead, and you can even put a little bit of CA glue or something in here to help keep that in place. But what I did was I took the foam tack, and on the back side of the magnet, just put a glob of foam tack there, and that locked the magnet right in place so it won't move now. If I need to adjust this later, if I'm finding that the gear door is locking up too much or staying closed, all I got to do is peel away this glue because it's foam tack, it peels off, it's rubbery. Then I can slide this magnet backwards just a little bit, or forwards, whichever way I need to go, and then put a little glob of glue back on there, and then it'll lock it back into place, and then I can go fly it and try it again. Now, for me, it worked first time. Didn't have any problems with it. I erred on the side of caution where when I put this door up, I wanted it to be light enough that again, I'm more concerned with the landing gear coming down than I have having the door lock up. Another theory I have is the airflow over this, pushing on this, is actually maybe making a low pressure over this hump, and that may be pulling the door. So that's a possibility as what's keeping this door open. So, but in any case, this has worked beautifully for me. This magnet has been in, it's just the right place. So now you guys have a good idea where this goes and the concept of doing this. Again, there's probably 100 different ways, you know, that you guys would be successful, you know, in doing this. But this way has actually worked really well for me using these magnets. Again, these are in the my Amazon store below, so you guys can find the same magnets, and I have now 100 of them, and I use like 2 of them or whatever. So and that's it. So if you guys like the content here, you know, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me go ahead and extend the gear. Let me get this plugged in one more time, get this whole thing powered up. I'll get everything all geared up, and we'll do it one more time. Let that landing gear come up, and you'll hear that nice audible click of that magnet. Listen for that. Yeah, that's a great sound. Again, it has a very nice click to it. And remember, that servo, for whatever reason, is still powered. Now, maybe a few minutes into the flight it depowers, but I don't know that it does. But it's a combination of having that horn and that rod set right, and then having that magnet in there right on that front edge. Again, not too far away, but also not too close, where, you know, that servo can unclick that magnet, you know, put enough pressure on it to get it to break contact and then open the door. But again, it really shouldn't be a concern, because with the airplane right side up, you got a lot of gravity pulling on these, and even if the magnet holds it up, that gear is heavy and strong enough that it's just going to power right through that door, as we saw. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys like that. Jeff, I got you covered, man. I hope this helps out. Hopefully you can show it during your one of your live shows here. As always, guys, if you like the content here, there's more coming. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit that like button, that helps us. And then if you want to support the channel as well, any of our links below at Horizon Hobby or FMS Model, or any of the links below, clicking on those links, going to the website, getting something through our link, supports the channel. So anybody that needs help with this L-39 and their doors, guys, please spread this around to everybody, because this really works very well. And if you don't use this exact method, you might use something similar to it. So, but this works beautifully. My doors are staying up and not having any problem with it. So as always, guys, appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for watching RC Informer. As always, see y'all next time.